Welcome back to another Game Day Men's Health podcast. Today I have Rubin, a returning guest on the pod. Rubin, what have you been up to?
Man, I've been, I had a kind of light summer following my last fight. And after that, I got back in the gym, started training. I guess I never really leave the gym, but started amping up my training again for my next bout coming up here in about 4.5 weeks. And, just toured around the country a little bit with my daughter and had just been having a good time.
Nice. Now,
just recently moved.
So yeah, that was the whole thing. Where'd you move to?
Oh my goodness. I moved to the Taylor at 502. Yeah, just down the road, but just moved.
Moving is such a pain.
Oh my goodness.
I remember when I moved, I wanted to just jump off a bridge.
It was a painful process. Thankfully, I had a lot of help.
Are you like fully unpacked now?
No. 83.2%.
Nice. So yeah. The kitchen's the worst part.
Yeah.
It makes you just want to like have a fork and just live off a fork.
110%. It makes me realize all my time spent in the military, how much more simple life is when you're just living out of 2 bags.
Yes.
Than, moving homes. It's the whole
Absolutely.
thing. Yeah.
Well, okay. So with you've been a lot more involved in Game Day since we last talked. So yes. What's been what have you done with them so far? What's that process been? What's it been like? Yeah, the process has been wonderful. Everybody at Game Day has been great. I'm going to be doing tirzepatide through them. I actually started it just a couple weeks ago. I'm someone who's been, I want to use the term chronically fat most of my life, where my body's always fighting to be fat, regardless of how hard I train. And even though I don't always have a perfect diet, but I'm not that bad at my diet. And working with the people there, they made the recommendation and I started, and so far it's been good. Getting like from the blood work to everything's been just super smooth with them. So I've enjoyed it so far. Have you noticed anything on the tirzepatide? I feel like I've been losing weight a lot faster than like typically do for not being on like a crash diet. That's been cool. Yeah. I was actually really nervous at one point about the potential side effects, but I haven't experienced any side effects whatsoever. And again, I feel like it's doing its job, and I'm kind of in that like ramping period of I think I take it once a week on Fridays, and like today I took I think it's 17 units of it, and just a real easy small little needle. I don't even feel it, and it's been. The insulin needles, that's the insulin needle, right?
Yeah.
The orange cap. Yeah.
It's like a 30 gauge or whatever.
Yeah. Those are, and people don't know, the smaller the gauge, bigger the needle. So if anyone's ever like, oh, we're going to give you a 12 gauge, bad. Bad.
Yeah.
You don't want that. Yeah. You would basically just get stabbed with a knife.
Yes.
Not fun. Well, that's good. I mean, tirzepatide's a really interesting compound. Much about it and what it does?
I don't know a ton about it. I just know that I trust the people there, and they walk me through that. It's like really big for like weight loss. Yeah. So they have a bunch of different. It's a GLP-1 end of the day. There's all kinds of different things. Tirzepatide is one of the triple agonist that has like it's a glucagon antagonist. It's a GLP-1 and then also like a some other thing. But it's actually gonna help a lot with insulin sensitivity. Which have you gotten that tested with like what your HbA1c's at and stuff like that? Whatever they tested in the blood work, that's what I know that I haven't specifically gone anywhere to get like my insulin sensitivity tested. So so working with Game Day, you don't have to really think about anything. You just kind of walk in and get. Yeah, and then they have the scheduled out times to get my blood work done to make sure everything is going smooth, and I really enjoy that. That's good. Now, is there anything down the line you're also interested in? Yeah, like right now you're fighting and you can't. Take everything just due to like regulations. Sure. Right? But I'm definitely interested in like, jumping on with them, like with the testosterone, and jumping on with them with different products they might have that, regulations might not allow me to take. Yeah. Well, it's always weird how the regulations will or won't let you take certain things. And you're like, yeah. And the thing is, like at the regional level, a lot of those things can fly under the radar, but if you plan on making it to like the bigger stage, and those things become banned, then it's like, we've seen a lot of like fighters, like their performance just kind of tanks after, they get off, and now they're
what got them to the show is no longer with them, and they're at the show and they underperform. So
yeah, you got to stay consistent with it.
Yeah.
Now, so GLP-1s are A-okay though?
To my knowledge, yeah. To my knowledge, they're okay.
Yeah, because I don't see really any outside of like weight loss. There's no performance
improvement. Yeah,
yeah. Mm-hmm. They're just
and even with like testosterone, it's a very interesting thing because as I've been like looking into it more, and we've talked about it quite extensively in the past too. It's just like, well, I mean, if you're like low on testosterone, like there's not really anything performance enhancing about getting yourself normal. Whereas like some person might just be normal.
Yeah.
And I can see where like if you already are at like a walking around at like a 6, 7, 800, and all of a sudden like now you're taking testosterone and you're at like a 1500, now it's like performance enhancing. But I don't think there's anything wrong with like getting yourself normal.
Yeah. When a lot of people just don't understand what normal feels like, because they'll have an idea of like, oh, normal's this. And it's like, well, that's not how you should normally feel.
Yeah.
Normal's a lot better than this.
I had a conversation with someone very close to me just recently in regards to weight loss. This person's very near and dear to my heart. And I was telling this individual like, hey, just imagine like you haven't been like lean or, in that like your best shape since you were a teenager. You don't even remember what it feels like to like, you could mid 30s, you could literally, you have the opportunity, if you lost 100, 150 pounds, you have the opportunity to feel better at 34, 35 than you did when you were 22, 23. And a lot of people get this idea that they've maybe been like big for so long that like now that's just their new normal and this is how things, and it's like you are holding yourself back from a whole world of, you don't remember what it feels like to be able to just like bend over and tie your shoes without being out of breath. It's like people forget, to your point, like what normal is supposed to feel like. I know for me, a big wake up call, because I had put on a lot of weight. I think we talked about it the last time, but I had put on a lot of weight when I was dealing with like the stress of just a kind of horrible custody battle. And, and I had put competing off to the side, and I had put on like 100 pounds. And, the weight happened so fast that I just didn't realize it. I was just buying new clothes and fitting into them. And then one day there was a situation where I was with my daughter at a trampoline park, and this little like ninja course type deal. And I did a bunch of cool schools in the Army, and I'm very athletic. I'm a professional athlete, and I like went to pull myself up this rope, and I remember like breaking a sweat, like pulling myself up this rope that like kids are supposed to be able to. And I was like, oh my God. And that was a big eye opener for me. And at that point I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for a run when I drop my daughter off. And I got back to my hotel. At the time I was living in Dallas, Texas, and I was traveling every other weekend to see my daughter here in Kentucky. And I went to my hotel in Lexington, and I went to run. And I've run several marathons. I used to run 6-7 miles a day. Now it's a little bit less that I'm a little older, but I still run a lot. And I went to run a mile, and I had to stop like 0.5, 0.6, like short of 1 mile. And a very like uncomfortable but very honest moment is like I just cried right there. And I was like, how like far have I fallen from where I used to be as like an athlete? And at that moment, I just completely decided to just change everything about, how I was doing things. And it took time. I wish I would have like lost that 100 pounds, or I lost like 80 of it more as fast as I had put it on.
Yeah.
But either way, that was a big wake up call. And, it's so much nicer to, be 33 and able to, still be doing cartwheels and running sprints. And it feels good to be an athlete.
Yeah. Just having just having tools. These are all just tools to help you get back to at least baseline, at least just enough to where you can, go up a rope, go on a little run. I didn't run forever. I remember my first time I ran like probably same deal, 0.5 miles. I never got like big, but just cardiovascular endurance. And I know what it's like now that I'm a little more, a little skinnier, lost some weight, better cardiovascular health. Like I can run it. I'm not
dying. It's always funny. It's like, oh, I'm not covered in sweat right now. Or it's like, oh, I don't want to throw up. This is funny. And you get into like that running cadence where you're just like, oh, I can just like keep going right now. I feel good. And then you start to get that like, little runner's high. And you're like, oh, I feel this is really good.
Oh yeah.
And that's something that, if you're really overweight, you just will never experience.
Yeah.
And so what would you say to people who are, really overweight to kind of encourage them or get them to maybe, take a more active role in their health?
Yeah, I would say that speaking as someone who's been there, it's not okay. It's just not okay. And I understand that a lot of people might be offended by that, and that's okay. What's not okay is that you're allowing yourself to be this way. You're stealing potential memories from, your loved ones, kids, if you got them, it's not okay to, you got to do whatever you can. We hear this, especially as athletes, choose your hard. Mm-hmm. It's hard to get up and work out, and it's hard to, be breathing heavy, walking up a flight of stairs,
Yep.
Choose your hard. And, I would just say to anybody who's, out there, who's struggling, it's so funny to me. There's so many people that weight is a very touchy subject. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to tell you that you're overweight if they're your friend, because they don't want to risk offending you. But the moment you go and lose 50 pounds, 60 pounds, or, oh, I'm so proud of you, I'm so happy that, it's like, where were you? You didn't tell me to do this. Mm-hmm. Tough love is love. And I would just tell anybody out there, like, from whether it's going to somewhere like game day to get yourself, the tools to help you navigate weight loss, or signing up at a local gym, going outside and walking, do something, but lose the weight.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, get a little soft or just too nice if you get yourself to a certain point. I think it's good to have friends or people in your life who can be like, don't be like this. They hold you accountable. Like, outside of weight loss, maybe just how you're acting, how you're treating other people, regardless. Like, there's certain things that just aren't okay. If you say you're like, oh, I don't really care to spend time with my kids and do all that, and it's like, okay, your choice. But if you really think about it for a second and think, okay, well, I value my kids, I value my wife, I value all these things. My actions aren't aligning with my values. I'm not doing things that actually show that I care about these people. So, thank you for saying you care enough about me to hold me accountable, because I think accountability is a great way to show that you care about somebody. And, you have that honest, hard conversation with yourself, like, this isn't okay. I don't want this. Going through that journey, are there moments when you feel yourself falling back, or you're like, you don't feel as motivated? And what helps you in those moments? You don't feel as motivated to like stay as lean or eat as healthy and do all that?
Well, I go through that on the daily. And the fact of the matter is that motivation really is crap. Motivation will get you up one time. Discipline and having a goal in mind is what keeps you on track. That motivation, we all live through Instagram and TikTok reels of seeing people that seemingly have their life put together in this like high energy of motivation all day or every morning. It's like, no, like getting up and doing this stuff at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. or 11 p.m. or midday on your lunch break, whatever it is really difficult. And we all lack motivation. But it's that discipline, it's having that goal in mind, and it's telling yourself that like, hey, I'm doing this irregardless of how I feel. I really resonate and enjoy something that like, the late great Kobe Bryant said when he's like, hey, I rest in the end, not in the middle. And, and he said things like, I had made a contract with myself that like, hey, this is how I'm going to do irregardless of how I feel, tired, happy, sad, whatever. Like I told myself I'm taking this many shots today, running this many miles. This is what I'm going to do. So yeah, that's what I would say is when you're lacking motivation, you just got to get up and do it, because you'll regret it. You'll regret it more if you don't, for sure. And don't like, for a lot of people who are like extremely overweight, I would say, and this is something I've been using a lot more, is simplify fitness. I've seen a lot from as someone who's like run a gym, as someone who's been in the fitness world for a long time. I see a lot of people out there that are, and I'm always going to encourage, like, if someone wants to go out there and get after it, do a hard workout, yeah, man, do your thing, but a lot of people get these highs and these motivations and then go do these killer workouts and they maybe only have it for a week and then they realize how much it hurts. Mm-hmm. So I say to people, hey, simplify fitness. Don't try to run 6 miles. If you can't run 6 miles, just walk a mile and do that for a prolonged period of time and build yourself up to be able to run that like David Goggins approach. He couldn't run, so he got on a bike for 3 hours a day for X amount until he could build himself up, lose 100 pounds, then all of a sudden he can run. Now he can run 240 plus miles. So I tell people, and I've been telling it a lot more, is simplify fitness.
That's a big part. It's never as hard as anyone thinks. Like eating healthy, not hard. You see fruits and veggies, eat more of them.
Yeah.
You see meat, just eat more of it.
Yeah. 100%. I've been hearing that a lot. That's actually been really helpful. And that's a way that I've been navigating life recently, is that you really can't ever have too many like bad fruits and vegetables.
Oh my God. Yeah. Imagine someone getting fat on apples. I don't think I've ever heard that ever.
And it's so funny that I wish it wouldn't have took me as long to figure out, or like believe, I should say. But I remember a long time ago hearing this guy who was Asian guy, super lean, and his diet was like every day he had, I think it was 10 eggs and 7 bananas or something, something like that.
Yep.
And I was like, man, but like bananas have so many sugars, like 64 carbs in a banana.
Everyone thinks it's sugar, and you're like, it's not bad sugar.
And it's like, and that's what I was like, oh, but they have too much like sugar in bananas and that's too many carbs. Like there's no way. But this guy is clear, and he wasn't doing any like super crazy workouts. He's just like a normal gym guy, but that was his diet. And, and all the like, there's a lot of more recent studies, may or may not be true. I have yet to experience bad side effects from eating like whole eggs. And I love to eat, 7 to 10 eggs a day. Get that protein, I think a lot of numbers are, skewed based off the old school 1990s food pyramid that is total BS. Just like I'm like, oh, you can't get fat off eating fruits and vegetables and meat. It's just not possible. It's the moment when you walk into the inside of the grocery store, that's where all the stuff that's going to make you fat is.
Exactly. No, exactly. It's always funny on blood work. Everyone's like, oh, eggs are going to increase your HDL, da, da, da. My blood work was amazing when I ate like 5 eggs and then half a pack of bacon every day.
I love that.
Some of the best blood work I've gotten, and the worst blood work I've gotten, is when I do all this, like, when I just don't cook it at home. If I just eat out and I don't cook it at home, I have worse blood work. And for someone who's gotten a lot of panels done, very frequently with what I do, I'm just aware of like, oh, okay, just cook at home. It's so much easier. Just cook at home. You can make some homemade fries. It's okay. Use some avocado oil, some good oils.
Yeah. Homemade sweet potato fries are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Even a little bit burnt, cool, I'll take it, over like a McDonald's fry. I just saw something just the other day on TikTok that said it's healthier to eat 2 cheeseburgers than a cheeseburger and a fry.
Correct.
And I'm just like, that's so funny. But if I, it's so normal. And that's the thing, is it's normal to, I'll have the number one, the cheeseburger and the fry, whatever, right? As opposed to, let me get 2 like double cheeseburgers or whatever. It sounds different, but it's like, one is actually more healthy. Now, I'm not encouraging that eating 2 cheeseburgers like is healthy unless it's like bison meat.
I'm literally about to eat 2 cheeseburgers after you're done with this. I had someone get 2 giant cheeseburgers.
You did just say though, you're trying to like put back on weight.
I do need to put back on some weight.
Yeah. So it's like, it makes sense, since we're on the context of like weight loss or like being fit, fit, I guess fit into whatever.
But the funny thing is growing up though, I mean, that's a good point, because I never got like big, like skinny fat's probably the biggest I ever got. But But I always just ate I wouldn't get extra fries. I'd be like, oh, can I get 20 chicken nuggets, or can I get just 3 cheeseburgers?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't get the sides. And that makes sense why I probably never got super big, because I wasn't a big sides guy. I was a big give me more brisket, more more of this.
Right. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
That's a good. Never thought of it like that. Mm-hmm. So when I have kids, I'll just be like, all right, guys, no fries. Maybe cheeseburgers as you want though.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's more meat.
It's more meat.
Fake meat or real meat, whatever. It's meat.
Yeah, meat is meat.
It's got some protein in it.
Yeah.
The fries don't.
And just don't get too caught up on super healthy organic. It doesn't need to be crazy stuff. Just go to Kroger, get 80-20 ground beef. You're good.
You know what? Something about, and recently I've enjoyed fruit a lot more than I have in other times in my life. Ever since my last fight, after my weigh-in, I just had a craving for fruit.
Yeah.
So, and I've never had that before. And I just had a sick desire and craving for fruit. And since then, I cannot rid myself of the craving for fruit. So I go to Kroger almost daily and buy a $5 pack of watermelon and a $5 pack of pineapple.
Yep.
And Kroger has some, shout out to Kroger, the produce section. They've got some phenomenal fruit there, and it's inexpensive. And I just think about it, I'm looking at it man, this $5, it's $10 in total of watermelon and pineapple tastes phenomenal, and it's filling me up. And it's the same as if I were to go kill myself with a Taco Bell meal, right? Mm-hmm. But it tastes refreshing. And so, I've been eating a lot of fruit recently because of that.
Nice. Well, we're at time now.
Okay.
Started a little late today, but I think we got a good conversation about weight loss. I like that segment.
Yes.
That was very nice. You're fighting soon. When you fighting?
Yeah, I'm fighting September 26th, 4th Street Live, right here in Louisville, Kentucky. So I'm fighting Tyler Kirkpatrick. He's from somewhere in the Carolinas.
Nice.
Fun matchup. He gets after it, and so do I. So I'm excited to share the ring with him, share the steel with him, and go out there and just fight it out, duke it out.
Kill it, brother.
Thank you, man.